All right, guys, we are back for another Dokkan battle video. We're going to take a look at this video right here. A video going over the Dokkan Battle Hall of Fame. Let's give it a nice little like right here as well. Now, I've heard that Orange Piccolo has a big presence in this video, as well as he should, really. So this guy just recently got an EZA. Certainly is not as strong as when he first came out. I think he's probably good enough. Kind of like a fringe top 10 character. These days, I don't think that EZA LRs usually go much higher than this, unless they're the anniversary Dokkan Fest EZA LRs, right? So like the 6th anniversary UI and Evolution Blue Vegeta, the 7th anniversary Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Gods, right? And I fully anticipate in about a month's time that the Spirit Bomb characters, the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta, and the GT Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta will be crazy as well. So I anticipate Orange Piccolo high up on this list. Let's jump in here. Let's take a look at what we got here. I think the audio level should be good here.
Hey everybody, Holden here, back on the Alakir channel, and today I'm making a video on the official Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle Hall of Fame. Today I'm joined by my good friend Uno.
I am here against my own free will. Please do not believe anything that he says.
Yeah, so the
Dokkan Battle Hall of Fame. This is a good concept, right? Like, I've talked about this a couple of times in videos. I had kind of wanted to, like, I don't know, like, make some type of, like video along with this, like, myself, but just never really gotten around to kind of, like, sitting down and doing it, right? But I could think of some of the major characters that could be high up in here.
The reason we are making this list is because we are at the precipice of the game's 10th anniversary, probably the most monumental milestone we'll ever reach in this game. And for all we know, spots 1 through 6 on this list a year from now would just be the 10th anniversary LRs. So that's why we...
Oh, oh my goodness. Okay. So I guess, I mean, in hindsight, if we're, like using this type of, like language going in the 10th anniversary, like I definitely would have been thinking the same way, right? And then the one thing the 10th anniversary year did that's different from a lot of the past years is they cut us off right at the middle and knocked most of the first half of the year characters out of there, right? So a lot of the 10th anniversary LRs haven't been as effective since we got halfway through the year.
We have to make the video right now.
Putting together a dedicated list of all the strongest and most iconic characters in the game's history feels like a perfect way to celebrate the journey the game has taken over this decade, right before what will probably be the biggest event the game ever has.
Before we get...
I do think that the 10th anniversary to me does feel like kind of the biggest too. Like that does feel legit.
Into our list, we want to take a quick moment to talk about our credentials, basically just how long we've been playing, and later on we're going to talk about our criteria that we're using to rank units for the list. Uno,
Okay.
you go first.
I've been playing Dokkan since the first month of the game's global release, not quite day one.
And for me...
Okay, so quickly, so he's got me. Uno, I'm not familiar who Uno is, but he's got me beat by quite a while. So the first month of Global's release, I mean, this would have been, so he must have been playing sometime in July, or maybe at the start of August of 2015, I believe. I started playing in about August of 2016.
I've been playing since day one on Global, but like, if you've seen my content before, you might know I didn't know how to summon until I watched a video for SCRD FE Broly. So I haven't really been playing until that guy's release.
Okay.
With all of that being said, and our qualifications being out in the open, now we'd like to take a moment to go over the parameters and guidelines we use to scientifically determine which characters could be considered worthy of a seat in the Dokkan Hall of Fame.
Scientifically,
Our 3 necessary
okay.
criteria for a character's worthiness, in no particular order, are as follows.
Number 1, strength on release. If a character releases at the very pinnacle of the game, they're obviously going to be looked at more favorably for a list like this than a character who wasn't quite at the top level. A character who comes onto the scene as an explosive number 1 and redefines the game's level of power is exactly what we're looking for in this category.
You know what's funny? Hearing that, You know what character immediately came to mind for me is TUR Cooler, Halloween of 2019.
Number 2 is going to be aging process. What matters nearly as much as how strong a character was on release, how long that character stayed good, or even better yet, how long that character dominated at the top.
Number 3.
Okay, yeah, so this is where LR Orange Piccolo, Power Awakening Piccolo, his original release, he could easily be number 1 here. Kale and Caulifla, Tech Ultimate Gohan, some of the characters who just had like endless life cycles. We're already at the point where Int Fat Boo would certainly make this list as well.
Community impact. The people pick the Hall of Fame. It is the people's champion, a metric many people may not consider when discussing something like this is a character's overall impact on the community as a whole, from discussion and hype to general reputation.
That's interesting.
It's also very important to note that for all 3 of these metrics and our overall list, we are weighing a character's original release far more heavily than that same character's EZA release. This is purely to be fair toward characters who may have had stellar performances in the meta they released in, but a disappointing EZA.
Immediately, LR Kale and Caulifla. That's within 2 seconds, they are the character I think of right there that had a really, really, really disappointing EZA. But again, I really quite like their original run. Obviously, they're one of the best characters ever.
Yes, many factors are going into this list. It's not simply ranking characters by how far ahead of the game they were on release, or ranking the best units in the game by how long they stayed the best. It's a lot more complex. We want this list to feel like all units who hit that best unit in the game mark are eligible, but not guaranteed, which you will soon see as we get into the video. Now, with all that being said, we wanted to make sure we only include 10 seats for the Dokkan Hall of Fame. However, we have an extensive list of honorable mentions, with a handful that we deem special or impactful enough to get speaking sections of their own.
Okay.
Before we get into our special mentions and then the true top 10, we'd like to fire off some names that could easily be on someone else's Hall of Fame, but didn't quite make it for ours.
Okay.
These characters include
STR Dokkan Festival Broly.
Okay. So talking about his original release, this is definitely before my time. This is where I don't really feel I could have much like impact or thoughts really on this, right?
certain gimmick characters.
Okay, immediately, yes. Okay, so a character like General Blue and his stun would have been huge against like Dokkan Fest Tech Cell, which was, one of the hardest fights in the game. I mean, we have Oceana Shenron right here because of AGL Super Vegito, who very well may be on this list. He would destroy bosses with his counters. He wouldn't take damage from normals, but supers were an issue. But Oceanus would actually seal the boss. So people use not only Oceanus, but also Ninja Murasaki as well. Obviously, this Golden Frieza, massive damage reduction character. Devilman, we know well about him. They've made Devilman unobtainable. They finally just said, fuck it, Devilman can't be obtained anymore. Dude. They did the World Tournament revamp. It's actually to make Devilman unobtainable. That's why they did that. And then, obviously, these guys, at the first time they show up, they 100% chance stun the entire enemy rotation. That's why they're there.
Tech Perfect Cell.
Yeah, he would have been a nuking god when he first came out. Also, a little before my time, not really qualified to speak on him so much.
Int Buhan.
Oh, Int Buhan doesn't make the list. Okay. So back when I definitely would have feel like I was on the side of AGL Super Vegito. I almost could bring up some of my old videos, because I was making videos at the time when that was the discussion. Super Vegito versus Buhan. Buhan had, kind of in hindsight though, I think that Int team led by Buhan is exactly the type of team I would like. If I had been, Mr. Whale back then, maybe I would have been someone who thought Buhan was better than Vegito, maybe. But yeah, Buhan was definitely at least number 2 behind Vegito, right?
In Janimba.
Okay, so yeah, again, his original release before my time for sure. We remember his EZA though, but they did specify they're more so talking about original releases here.
Tech Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
Yeah, I understand why he's not here.
AGL and STR Rose Goku.
Oh, AGL Rose not on here. Okay, he could have been on here. I feel.
Black.
Int Ultra Instinct Goku.
Yeah, he doesn't need to be
Tech
here.
LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
I don't think he needs to be here either.
Ultra Instinct Goku.
Tech
You boys are moving fast as hell, dude. Okay. Yeah, I feel like this guy probably doesn't need to be here. Tech LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Probably not. But again, I was not lucky enough to pull him on his first banner. I went, the stream is up, by the way. You can fact check this. It was like 3,400 stones or something like that on his original banner. Not only did I not pull him, I didn't pull AGL Tapion, who was featured on the banner, until I was like 3,000 stones in. It was crazy.
LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku.
Tech LR Gohan and Goten.
They probably could have been on here. One of my bigger misses ever with a character. They probably could have been on here for sure.
Tech LR Broly.
I'm okay with Tech Broly not being here.
The 4th Anniversary LRs.
Huh. I mean, those boys were pretty crazy.
Fizz Dragon Ball Super Broly.
Yeah, that's fine.
TUR.
The 5th Anniversary LRs.
Yeah.
The Super Saiyan GT Dokkan Festival.
Okay.
Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta.
What? Wait, whoa, Pat the whoa, bud.
Int Super Saiyan 4
Now, I mean, this guy, he was pretty effective all throughout the God event. Really? Okay. We probably could have gotten him on. We'll see what the list looks like, right? I can't. Path to Power Kid Goku's not here?
Fizz Path to Power Kid Goku.
That seems crazy to me. Let's see what the list looks like.
The TUR.
What? No, you can't not have Gamma 1. Yeah, dude, Gamma 1 has to fucking be on here. You cannot. No way. I object if Gamma 1 is not on here. Bro, Gamma 1 came out in October of 2022. In February of 2024, he was a must in the Beast Gohan Supreme Magnificent Battle mission, bruh. Come on.
LR Vegeta and
Oh, stop it. No, that seems as a silly. These boys think it on here. I will be looking through this list with a fine-tooth comb.
STR LR Cooler.
I could see that, sure.
Tech Carnival Super Saiyan Goku.
He's worse than Vegeta and Trunks.
Piccolo Jr.
Okay.
The 8th Anniversary GT Duo.
LR.
Wait, but the Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Vegeta are going to be on here? No, no way, dude. I don't agree. You could do shenanigans to, supercharge their attack, sure. No, I thought that the GT one was way better that entire year. Bulma not being here, too. Some characters I thought would be here for sure. Path to Power Kid Goku, Bulma, and Gamma 1. Really? Okay.
Bulma.
LRSGR Future Gohan.
Okay.
AGL Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 Vegito.
Hero character not getting on here.
Fizz Gogeta Blue and AGL Full Power Broly.
Probably could have gotten Gogeta Blue on here if you really wanted, yeah.
Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Fat Boo.
You wanna know what the funny thing is? If this video... What was the exact date this video came out? January 25th? Redo this video right now, I feel like Fat Boo's like he's gotta be on there. Right. It's now, but yeah, Fat Boo would have to be on it now.
There are also characters that are a bit too recent for us to truthfully gauge their impact on Dokkan.
That's fair.
Characters
That's fair.
such as Carnival Tech LR Broly or the Carnival Family Kamehameha LR
Fair.
are ineligible for that reason.
I think Carnival DBZ Broly really could get onto a list like this now, for sure. Him and Fat Boo. It sounds like Beast is probably already going to be on here, but those are probably like the 3 units of 2024 that I feel like at this point, Beast, Tech Broly, and Fat Boo probably.
With all of that out of the way, let's get straight into discussing the special honorable mentions that we believed were important or unique enough to make an impact on Dokkan history.
But Gamma 1 wasn't?
All right, I'm just going to pull the Band-Aid off. Our first entry in our special mentions is Tech Ultimate
No. Listen, Holden, buddy boy. He is probably the most reasonable. Oh, dude, it's a clip on my video. Gotta be the most reasonable, like, how do I word this? I don't want to just assign the, like, APT head to him, but Tech Gohan not being on here, this invalidates the list, dude. You can't not have him on here? Bro, it's just, I'm sorry. As soon as you brought out aging, and it was community topic, like, pick, not one of the criteria as well? He's a special mention? No! No! No, I gotta hear this. Uninterrupted. Let's let it go.
I'm just going to pull the Band-Aid off. Our first entry in our special mentions is Tech Ultimate Gohan. Now put down your pitchforks. He's easily the most infamous unit in the game's history, aside from another Ultimate Gohan a couple of years later. This unit aged better than every character around him and is in talks for best aging character in the game's history.
Tech Ultimate Gohan had such an incredible aging process that you could probably still find some way to run him without his EZA right now. He also has a die-hard fan base of supporters and defenders, and he's built up a truly infamous reputation over the years since his release.
However, he was not dominant for too long during his release due to the units who immediately succeeded him. In Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Fizz Angel Golden Frieza were both strong contenders against Gohan for best TUR. Gogeta specifically was better in SBR due to his counter and due to his best partner being Fizz EZA Vegito Blue.
I will agree with that. I think when in, because remember, things can be true at the time, but then change as time goes on. So, like, in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta being better than Tech Ultimate Gohan the day he comes out, I agree. But then as time goes on, you know, as the meta shifts, different bosses come out, like like Tech Gohan could be more effective, whereas in Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is not really so much, right? Like that is something I would agree with. Let's just rewind a little bit and
counter, and due to his best partner being Fizz EZA Vegito Blue.
While Gohan ultimately outaged pretty much all of his competition, including even the LRs that were out at the time, neither of us really believe that a character's aging process can retroactively be used to say they were always stronger than their peers on release.
I agree.
Gohan was able to stay runnable for years due to his high defense stacking and defensive mechanic in guard. But he was quickly surrounded by characters who outdid him in multiple other ways and could still defensively compete with the content they were facing at the time. He might have been the best TUR on release, but it wasn't a grand reign. Alright, next. Still watching?
let's continue.
Imagine if for the 10th anniversary, the new units led teams for 340% leader skills instead of 200%.
Rhyme!
That is
My goat.
exactly what the 2nd anniversary SSJ4s did. Jumping from 70%.
Yeah, wait, whoa, wait, these guys aren't on here? Wait, it's a top 10? It's a top 10. Okay. Huh. These guys aren't on here? Damn, I'm actually very eager. I swear on everything. I don't know what, like, this top 10 is. I am stunned that Gamma 1, these guys, and Tech Gohan aren't on here, because they probably would be on my top 10.
exactly what the second anniversary SSJ4s did, jumping from 70% to 120% for Super and Extreme class. That was kind of the meta for them, is a 1.7 times increase in power to every character on the team that met the requirements. On top of this ludicrous jump in leader skill buffs, the Super Saiyan 4s were just so far and away the best units in the game, stat-wise as well.
They introduced a frankly absurd step up in power from even the next best character under them. And while they didn't hold the #1 spot for any real length of time, they were among the top tier characters for essentially the entire year in which they released.
Oh, okay, so we're saying Cooler. Yeah, they just clued me into their hand right there. These guys aren't on there because they're gonna say Cooler was stronger. I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
However, their incredible power on release is not why we decided to include them in our special mentions. Due to the sheer hype of best units in the game, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, these characters essentially broke the game's servers for an extended period of time on their release.
Yeah.
Well, you can easily blame a lot of that on the game's...
Quickly, I remember being a global-only player at the time, and that is true. For long stretches, like, the game was just down. And I remember there was one period where it was down for a very long time. The game came back up, and I remember I think they gave out hidden potential system orbs as like a apology gift, like in the gift box. And I remember that at the time being like, oh my god, I gotta start a JP account just to get those extra orbs. I thought that. I heavily regret not doing that now, but hard to be too mad at myself when, I mean, eventually it led me down the path I'm at now, so, you know, but, yeah, okay.
An extended period of time on their release. Well, you can easily blame a lot of that on the game's inferior servers back in the day.
Sure.
It clearly shows that Dokkan themselves weren't quite prepared for the sheer magnitude of hype that was the first Super Saiyan 4s.
Next up for special mentions, we have Fizz and Tech Vegito Blue. These are two characters that were very difficult for us to rank. Originally, Fizz VB was in the top 10, and Tech Vegito was only a named honorable mention. But as we finalized our list, we decided to put them together in our special mentions list.
Sure. Okay.
As a quick side note, the Goku Black counterparts to both of these Vegito characters were excluded from the talking portion of our special mentions because they didn't quite reach the same heights as either of their Vegito counterparts on release. Physical Vegito Blue was at an almost unmatched level of hype for a character's debut in Dokkan.
Yeah.
Certainly helped by how closely his release followed after the anime episode it was based off of.
I think only a couple of
And
days
as
later.
for Tech Vegito Blue, he was ahead of his time offensively for TURs and was one of the first TURs to ever be argued as better than some LRs. In fact, Tech Vegito Blue was seen by some as just the best unit in the game when he dropped.
Now, okay. Yeah, talking about the subject of the LRs, this was at a time where it was essentially impossible to have LRs rainbowed unless there was people at the time who were duping stones and stuff, but like rainbowed LRs just pretty much didn't exist because they were just only unfeatured on those banners. But I mean, certainly if you would talk about like a rainbowed in LR Gohan or LR SCR Broly or something like that, oh, those characters are probably on this list, huh? I mean, they would blow all those 120% leads out of the water, right? But they were just impossible to rainbow at the time.
But this spot on this list is accounting for both his arguably year-long reign as the best TUR, but also his leader skill not quite being able to compete with top-tier category leader skills. Next up is AGL Gogeta Blue, which is quite fitting given he was the first TUR that was widely regarded as better than LRs. He also was the second/third dual category leader, the first being Tech Hit, and he led what was in contention for the best team in the game.
AGL Gogeta was one of the most exciting character debuts in the history of Dokkan due to following shortly after the DBS Broly movie's
Absolutely.
global release.
Oh yeah,
And he was
oh, yeah.
rightfully seen as one of the most powerful characters in the game's history. He also retained the #1 spot among TURs without any sort of competition or threat to his position, excluding a certain Easy A, for over half a year.
One interesting thing of note is that Gogeta is the very first character in the game's history that could do everything in the game at 55%. In Super Saiyan Blue, he had guaranteed crits, 50% dodge, and a level 5 additional for an extra super or normal.
Our final entry for the special mention segment is STR TUR Cooler.
What? Really? Huh. Really? I would have never guessed this. Especially like Tech Ultimate Gohan off. I mean, STR Cooler. It's gotta be like LR STR Broly, LR Majin Vegeta, LR in Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, like boom, boom, boom in a row, huh? I cannot believe Cooler's not on
Entry
here.
for the special mention segment is
Huh.
STR TUR Cooler. Now, when it comes to Cooler, an easy comparison to make for him is that he was basically the second coming of AGL Gogeta Blue, who we mentioned prior. A TUR that absolutely embarrassed a lot of the LRs who released within the same year as him.
Yeah.
You could easily make the argument at the time that Cooler was just outright better than every LR but Kale and Caulifla. More importantly, he was one of the most unique characters in the game's history. The fact that you could freely switch between a top-tier support character to one of the best offensive characters meant he could mold the flow of the event and suit whatever playstyle you needed him to fill. Holy fuck, he got out.
The Dokkan community is the biggest example of sheep culture I have ever fucking seen.
Oh, okay.
The fact that the Truth DT brainwashed hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of players into thinking that STR Cooler was worse than LR Kill and Caulifla makes me sick. They had one fucking team, and that team was gated behind you pulling 2 to 3 copies of them. Like, what the fuck, man?
Oh, well, hold it right there, buddy. Yeah, but I did have those copies, didn't I? Hey, I had the characters.
Even outside the regular player's obscene unlikelihood of pulling 3 copies without draining their life savings aside, Kale and Caulifla didn't even do anything better except tank, and even then it didn't matter anyway. He hit harder, and the event where it mattered, he had guaranteed crits and infinitely stacked attack. Cooler had a better leader skill, supported 2 top-tier categories. Kale and Caulifla weren't even on 2 teams. An attack debuffed, which was huge, and Super Battle Road. You know, the event where Kale and Caulifla fucking sucked. I think it's finally time that we begin our top.
Yeah, that's cool. But there's no way you're about to say that Cooler is on this list above fucking Kale and Khalifa. I promise you're not, though, buddy, are
Hall
you?
of Fame list. So without any further ado, number 10 of the Dokkan Hall of Fame is
The 7-year anniversary LRs.
Yeah, okay.
The LR Gods and LR Force.
No!
They're arguably the most hyped characters in the game's history and were easily the strongest in the game when they first debuted. So it may confuse some people to see them ranking this low.
They were the strongest offensive forces in the game at the time, introduced a brand new mechanic in the action break mechanic, and brought forth a new leader skill meta after 4 years.
Not the biggest deal, but they were the first characters to have 2 actives, right? I think so.
Of 170% leader skills. Despite this, in half a year, they were almost unanimously replaced as the best unit in the game by Int Vegeta and Trunks. A unit that was essentially Tech Ultimate Gohan, but a Saiyan with an absurdly broken leader skill.
While the 7th anniversary LRs did age quite well overall, the limited time they held the top spot impacts their ranking when compared to some of the other entries on this list.
Hold on, buddy, limited time? It was 6 months, though. I mean, I certainly would not have these guys in, like, you know, out of the top 5, but, I mean, they were, like, there was no one better than them. The first character that came out that is, like, comparable to them would be Golden Frieza. That was in June.
And more importantly, they weren't really as dominant in the content they released with as many of their competitors were.
That's fair. That is
While
fair.
many other top-tier
They were
characters in
victims!
game
Say it!
history
Victims!
felt almost impervious to whatever event they were designed to be ran in, the 7th year anniversary LRs could get easily slapped up by the top-level Red Zone stages that came out at the end of their anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
However, they did feel almost necessary for the content they released with regardless, so we can't dock them too hard.
Coming in at number 9 is STR Super Vegito. Easily one of, if not the biggest release of 2020 Dokkan.
Okay, quickly. As far as I remember, people were still arguing this guy. I mean, there was arguments about Tech Gogeta versus this guy when Tech Gogeta came out in June of 2021. I mean, that was getting close to a full year after LR Vegito, right?
The hype for this character was off the charts, which was important given the unit he was following up on, in LR Super Vegito. Unlike in LR Super Vegito, STR Super Vegito actually fused pretty often, and was the strongest offensive force in the game until the Year 7s came out with their unbelievable active skill turns. He was unanimously regarded as the best unit in the game all the way to the 6th anniversary when, he came out. Being
Sure,
the best for
yeah,
5
sure.
months is a huge accomplishment, especially when Vegito was such a highly regarded character. Leading the best team in the game until the 6th anniversary, he had options such as tanks, healers, debuffers, damage
There's no way we're going to see Namek, Goku, and Full Power Freeze on here, right? I don't think I would agree with them being on here.
dealers, you name it, the team had it. When talking about some of the best designed characters in the game's history, STR Super Vegito is often looked back on with high regard and respect.
Sure.
He was truly ahead of his time.
Sure,
Up
sure,
next,
sure.
at the number 8 spot for the official Dokkan Battle Hall of Fame, in comes the 3rd anniversary LRs. Being the first ever Dokkan Fest LRs in the game's history, as well as the first transforming characters, they entered the game with an unseen level of prestige.
Yep.
They made all content feel effortless, including events that felt impossible just the day before they hit the game, like certain Super Battle Road stages.
Dokkan Battle exploded in popularity with the release of these two LRs. The evidence can still be seen to this day. One of the biggest creators in our community, The Truth, made a 100% showcase that is still one of his all-time best performing YouTube videos. There are characters that instilled this mindset more, but these two had a you have them or you don't mentality.
One of the big reasons for that, funny enough, is I started rainbowing every single character on release Golden Week of that year. So these guys came out, like January 30th or something like that of 2018. The Int Vegito was maybe my luckiest summons ever. It's on the short list. Physical Gogeta took me, I think it was like almost exactly 8,000 stones to rainbow him. Vegito, it might have been closer to like 500 stones to rainbow. So I was able to get a rainbow video out, within a day. And this is long before the days of the, the dark technique known as the private server, right?
To them.
These two were the best characters in the game with a sizable gap, befitting of their status as the first Dokkan Festival LRs. They were actually even more impressive when it comes to longevity, having some of the most graceful aging processes of any characters in the game's history. While they only held the number 1 and number 2 spots for a bit over half a year, only to be usurped by another entry in our top 10, small spoiler, it's clear that these two are more than worthy of exemplary scores for all 3 factors that we previously discussed.
The units in the Dokkan Battle top tier hemisphere at the time of the Year 3's release were still powerful in their own right, but either did not have the exact correct balance of offense, defense, and leader skill, or were just worse in all 3. Units like Tech LR Golden Fist Goku, SSJ3, and NLR Gohan, who excelled in damage but suffered in defense, or units such as Tech LR Goku Black and Zamasu and NLR Bojack, who were the reverse, were all considered some of the best in the game, but it was the 3rd anniversary LRs that were just right, almost like Goldilocks, in all 3 categories that made them the best in the game. On top of this, they probably had one of the best key mechanics in the game. Only one unit at the time was ever considered better in this regard, and we'll get to them later. But it's because of all of these factors that they were unequivocally number 1 and 2 at the time. And despite this, they only remain at the 8th seat in the Dokkan Hall of Fame for one reason in particular.
In spite of the fact that they were the first transforming units in the game, the first Dokkan Fest LRs, some of the best aging characters ever, and certainly the most impressive units in the game overall unreleased, there exists a certain miasma keeping us from placing them even higher than they are. That being their terrible transformation condition.
Yeah, tough.
You would almost
tough.
never
Tough, for
see
sure.
the fused versions of these characters that were intended to make them so incredible and special, at least without sabotaging yourself and opening your run up to several lose conditions it wouldn't have had otherwise. The transformed versions of Vegito and Gogeta would have gapped the game even harder than some entries that will be listed above them, but you would almost never see them, and certainly never see them in the content where they would truly make an impact. Our next entry for the Dokkan Battle Hall of Fame is one of the strongest LR characters of all time, Goku and Frieza. The first worldwide celebration LR, a character who had no special gimmick, no grand ability, just sheer unadulterated damage.
Yeah.
Goku and Frieza's damage was so unbelievably ahead of the rest of the game that they were one of 2 characters who could complete the punching bag nuke event. In LR Gohan, who was an actual nuke-type character designed for the event, and Goku and Frieza themselves, who did it through sheer raw power. They completely sunned the 3rd anniversary LRs, who we mentioned before, due to their inability to transform, and continue to be the best unit in the game until arguably after the 4-year anniversary.
When discussing this unit, it is hard to ignore that they are just a damage dealer who almost required a full setup of supporters to do what they do best. But, as Uno already said, the payoff was so worth it.
Yeah. I remember running, like, people were running the Tech TN support, physical Android 17, some of those characters to draw Goku and Frieza's full power. And I remember it was thought of when the link level update happened, right? So prior, we could put Goku and Frieza in the middle slot, and they would get, like, over on a flash from the character in slot 1 and slot 3 would both give them the 3 keys. So they get, like, 6 key if, they've got over on a flash and, like, the characters in slot 1 and slot 3 have it. But after the link level update happened, the key link could only trigger 1 time, right? I remember people talking about that being thought of as a nerf for this character, because key was a thing you would want to support them, badly.
We had units released after them that could do what they did, but only in certain situations. It took almost 2 years for the prolific damage dealer to be officially usurped by Gogeta Blue and Vegito Blue from the 5th anniversary, until another year passed when they took it back as the #1 damage dealer spot on Easy Yay during the 6th anniversary. And then another character, a demon, took it away from them for good.
Oh, Lord almighty. That fucker better not be on here over Gamma 1. God damn it.
It may surprise some newer players to hear about a character who ruled the game for so long based on the sheer damage they were doing, due to the game's current climate lending way more value to jack-of-all-trades characters with a lot of utility. However, while Goku and Frieza were a one-trick pony, they did that one trick so incredibly well that no other character could compete.
Okay.
The 6th seat at the Dokkan Hall of Fame table is currently being occupied by 2 people. Let us explain. Those 2 people are AGL UI Goku and AGL Full Power Frieza.
What are we doing here? AGL Full Power Frieza? Is that a joke? Now listen. When he dropped, there was, I would argue and agree, a compelling case for him at 1, right? UI Goku at 1, Frieza at 1, right? A lot of back and forth. I certainly was an AGL UI Goku at 1 person. A lot of people did think Frieza was #1, right? And Namek Goku was pretty, I thought, consistently referred to as the 3rd best character in the game. Guys, a Red Zone was right around the corner. Frieza was a victim in there. Like, we're seriously, like, Gamma 1? Pat the Power Kid Goku, Bulma, Tech Gohan, and SDR Cooler are not on here for full power fucking Frieza? No. Holden, buddy, I love you. Full power Frieza? I gotta let the whole thing play without interrupting. Let's go.
Is currently being occupied by 2 people.
Quickly, I understand why the 2 of them are there together, because, like, it was an argument. Although, keep in mind, UI Goku was undisputed #1 for almost, 7 months before Frieza came out?
Let us explain. Those two people are AGL UI Goku and AGL Full Power Frieza.
While these characters weren't actually opposing dual Dokkan Fests, they had an extremely iconic rivalry throughout the year that they both dominated.
Yeah.
Which is why we chose to have them share the spot.
Throughout the year? Or a fucking few small months, though, bud? Hold on. Let me not interrupt. Let's just go.
Iconic rivalry throughout the year that they both dominated. Which is why we chose to have them share the spot rather than just picking one. Although, the popular opinion was that Goku took the #1 spot while Frieza was a close second.
Yeah,
Goku
that's
was
fair.
a defensive juggernaut through his impressive dodge and revive, while
Yeah.
Frieza was essentially the strongest offensive force in the game.
Yep.
AGL LR Full Power Frieza was a genuine example of kill them before they kill you. Beating the previous
Bro, I'm hot. I'm sorry. Bro, even when the fucker came out, dude, we were running Extreme Super Battle Road. Like this kid, people, you're running him in slot 1. Like even back then, he gets supered and he gets sunned. What are we doing here? My bad.
entry of LR was
Strongest offensive force in the game.
AGL LR Full Power Frieza was a genuine example of kill them before they kill you. Beating the previous entry of LR Goku and Frieza in the damage department very definitively. As for his team, it was usually a cheerleader squad of supports when you knew Frieza was going to solo the enemies. In normal settings where you weren't so confident, you'd surround him with the many powerful Namek Saga LRs from that worldwide celebration and his personalized banner unit that was the best in the game at the time in Third Form Frieza.
Yeah, great.
He also
penny
had a
in it,
healthy
yeah.
amount of defense, but as Uno will soon get into, it wasn't always good enough.
Exactly. Frieza would often struggle defensively in slot 1, and his incredible damage was noticeably worse in slot 2, meaning you would actually have to make the choice to threaten your
So why is he here?
As Frieza's potential. This is why most people preferred Goku, as his safer and easier playstyle meant you could toss him wherever you
Why
wanted
is
him
he
without giving it
here?
a second thought.
SBRs often could not one-shot you, and even if they did, Frieza had options for slot 1s, such as Tech or AGL Golden Frieza. And while he was weaker in slot 2, he still hit harder than UI Goku, and even with his 70% chance to dodge, Goku could still die in slot 1.
That's true.
Either way, no matter who you had at #1 going into the 7th year, Fizz SSJ3, Goku, hi, hey, hello, both of these two units deserve a seat at the Dokkan Hall of Fame.
Whoa! No way, dude. I vehemently disagree with that. Full Power Frieza is nowhere near my top fucking 50, dude. STR Cooler, Path to Power Kid Goku, Gamma 1, the OG Super Saiyan 4s. This is lunacy that Full Power Frieza is here. I mean, a lot of it has to do with he got cut off by Red Zone, but tough titties. The boy got cut off by Red Zone, man. That is crazy. Come on. Full Power Frieza. No way.
Coming in at number 5, we have the truly infamous Kale Ant Cauliflower.
5?
A character who was begrudgingly accepted as an overwhelming #1.
Yeah, people, the first time I noticed, like, oh wow, people really don't like me, is when this character came out. For sure. Well, you know, I would just merely tell them, hey, they are the best unit in the game, by the way, and people were not happy about it.
Despite what some choice individuals would say. While they weren't necessarily hype, this actually helps to lend credibility to their position, because a big reason people disliked them was that they felt a Kale and Cauliflower unit didn't deserve to be #1 in the game.
That's true, yeah.
Which was basically like admitting they knew they were.
Yeah.
I would like to make clear that I agree.
Quickly. Vegeta and Trunks got a lot of those same type of arguments as well when they came out.
Which was basically like admitting they knew they were.
I would like to make clear that I agreed they were #1 even after STR Cooler, just it was not as set in stone as before Coolly released. Regardless, this unit was certainly shocking. The definition of low hype, insane kit. This character made Dokkan realize that their scripts for the key +1 with each blank were broken.
Yep.
Because Kale and Caulifla had no limit to their key. While the passive said up to 6, their actual key meter did not cap out at 24 key, which led to their key multiplier, which is a step in attack calculations for the game, not capping out at 200%, which is what it would be for 24. This inevitably caused their additionals and initial supers to all hit way harder than they were supposed to. Dokkan had to do maintenance to fix this bug, but it took some time before they figured out how to fix it. Or at the very least, it took them time to get off their asses and fix it.
Destroyed the game, yeah.
But don't get it twisted. Kel and Caulifla are not just on this list because they were technically glitched. They were the best unit in the game by far, because they were almost completely designed for what was the game's primary hard content for a year, the legendary Goku event.
Came out about 3 weeks
They
later.
could attack up to 5 times in a turn in this event, which essentially made them the best attacker in the game. They had an impressive dodge chance and defensive level, basically being the best defensive unit in the game as well. Out of their 5 attacks, 4 could be supers, and they were a stacker. In an event with, how many, 7 phases? Being a stacker attacking 4 times a turn meant they were reaching absurd defensive levels. People hated the idea of a Kale and Caulifla card ruling the game in the same year as an SSJ2 Gohan and an SSJ4 Goku,
Yeah.
but it
yeah.
speaks to their sheer dominance that people had to accept it anyway.
Okay.
At number 4, we have yet another crossroads. I think it is integral to explain that these two, while controversial picks above Kale and Caulifla, absolutely deserve to be in this list. LR Int Gohan and LR
Just quickly, I don't think I'm going to argue against this, by the way. But the only kind of like caveat I would say is that unlike Kale and Caulifla, who were like a featured LR that you could reasonably like rainbow, these guys no, like it wasn't even like realistic to do. But yeah, I mean, these units came out. Their power was so explosive, but again, not only would people not rainbow them, people couldn't even get these guys, right? I don't know. This is a little bit before my time of being a monster whale, but I mean, I don't know. This doesn't AGL full power freeze. I feel like just doesn't even deserve even honorable mentions. I feel like is a stretch. I didn't even think he was going to be mentioned at all in this video. But these guys, I could see this. This is not crazy at all.
absolutely deserve to be in this list. LR Int Gohan and LR SCR Broly, the very first summonable LRs, Gohan for JP and Broly for Global.
Sure, yeah.
Most
good
people who
logic.
played back then are probably okay with Gohan being here, but might be scratching their heads at LR SCR Broly, so I think
I
it's
get it,
appropriate
I
for
get
me
it.
to make my case on why I believe he was one of the most disrespected LRs in this game's entire lifespan. Broly, on release, was by far the best unit in the game on Global. At the time, Super Battle Road did not yet exist. It was all simply Dokkan events. In said events, Broly's defense debuff did not matter. He hit harder than Gohan thanks to him having access to both crit and additional in high amounts. While the actual stats for the supers may have been lower than Gohan's, he was still hitting harder because the 1 to 2 additionals and 2 to 3 chances at crits just added up to more damage. Back in 2017 Dokkan, even after the Super Battle Road events dropped, it's not as if suddenly normals were killing every unit without defense. If it was that way, and LR Gohan and AGL Majin Vegeta would have been terrible too, as neither had defense. But people don't talk about those two in negative lights like they do for STR LR Broly, whose defense debuff effectively made it a 50k defense difference between him and the two I just got done mentioning. All damage dealers took damage from normals pre-
It was a different era back then, yeah. Yeah.
Between him and the two I just got done mentioning. All damage dealers took damage from normals, pre-category SBR, but Broly hit the hardest and did not have to contend with Gohan on Global until that summer. I think he deserves to be on this list, as I don't think he was dethroned as the best LR until Tech LR SSJ3 Goku. All that mattered back then was damage, and Broly was the best at it and had it in spades.
Oh, poor Nano, dude.
While I do agree that Broly was very underrated at the time, especially after hearing Holden's case, I'm definitely in the common camp that LR Gohan was the better of the two and the real king of the first batch of LRs. The thing about these characters is that they were the true first summonable LRs. Something that current Dokkan players who didn't play back in the day might not understand is that LRs had to come out. They weren't around from the very beginning. Gohan was the first summonable LR that was ever added to a banner on the JP version, and shortly after, Broly was added as a global first LR on his own featured banner. The common opinion back in the day was that Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was the best character in the game, and people held this opinion for almost a full year.
Yeah,
Among the
yeah.
top tiers and units across this list, a full year of dominance in the #1 spot is almost unheard of. Some of the longest stretches atop the throne were cut off after half a year or maybe a bit longer.
Yep.
But Gohan reigned from just after the 2nd anniversary to the 3rd. Some of the reasons being his godly key mechanic at the time.
Well, I mean, he kind of basically was released during the 2nd anniversary. It was still in February of that month. Let's just quickly look. It was, what, like February 16th? February 20th? Something like that? Oh, right, it's broken. It's broken. Yeah, the Thieving 6 wiki is broken. 2 seconds, chat. This will take 2 seconds to grab. '22nd of February. Remember, back then, these LRs, by the way, like, they didn't reveal units officially, right? This guy was just slipped into a banner. Like, literally. In the middle of the night, this guy is just placed into a banner. There's no fanfare, no major description of him in the news or anything like that. They were, like super mega secret characters. I remember just LRs being talked about in the news was like a huge thing when there was, like, this was at the end of 2017. There was like this notice in the news talking about LRs, and it was like, oh my god, a huge deal, right? Like,
allowed him to 18 key more easily than any other LR. He was one of the strongest offensive characters, and he was the ace unit on one of the first powerful category teams in Hybrid Saiyans. He's very under-discussed among the greatest units in history.
yeah, that's
surely
probably
due
true.
to his bad EZA, which makes it easy to forget that he held on to the crown for among the longest the game has ever seen.
That's pretty valid, I think.
The status Gohan and Broly held as the first summonable LRs on each version brought back some of the strongest have them or you don't mentality the game had ever seen since a certain character from the 1st anniversary.
Number 3 is LR/STR Beast Gohan. I, as well as Uno, are aware that he is currently being touted as the best unit of all time by much of the community, but we
including
currently
me.
disagree.
I would say
Even
so.
still, this unit is in that discussion. It is very foolish to argue otherwise. You would have to be a fucking joke. You would have to be a ridiculous, immature...
So wait a minute. So are we to assume STR Gogeta is probably 2 and then Orange Piccolo is probably 1?
Half-wit moron. I am thankful that I have never met a sadder, more attention-starved, jabbering little prick in my life. Oh, wait. I have.
Wait. Yeah.
It is very
Whoa.
foolish to argue otherwise. You would have to be a fucking joke. You would have to be a ridiculous, immature, half-wit moron. I am thankful that I have never met a sadder, more attention-starved, jabbering little prick in my life. Oh, wait. I have.
I love Yuna.
It may be strange to include Beast on this list when we excluded other amazing characters from 2024 due to their recency. However, Beast did release near the very beginning of 2024, meaning he has been out for nearly a full year, and has been arguably the best character for the full length of the last year. Despite his recency, this does give him immediate eligibility for a list like this. Although the reason we settled that he shouldn't go higher is because unlike many of his peers in this Hall of Fame, he never really held an unmatched peak. Characters like AGL Broly or Physical Evo.
Chat. Oh. I don't, it's just, man. I don't, AGL Broly is pretty good, man. Like, he's a great unit. But, like, I don't, like, we're talking about AGL Broly in the same discussion as Beast? bro, I don't. I mean, maybe we're gonna say like, oh, this list is made with items in mind, but like, bro, I mean, I would just like to point out, like, I mean, this is one of my best videos ever, kind of mysteriously. So this video right here, yeah, come on, YouTube, let's go. All right, guys. All right, so this is a super boss's mission, right? But like, you know, if Broly is so good, why is this 2 hours and 50 minutes? I promise you, if you swap Beast for Broly, this video is not 2 hours and 50 minutes. I don't even, I can't believe AGL Broly was just even mentioned near Beast. That does seem crazy to me.
Like many of his peers in this Hall of Fame, he never really held an unmatched peak. Characters like AGL Broly or Physical Evoken were far above him offensively, while characters like DB...
Bro, stop it. Stop the cap. They're putting that in there to troll me. You're fucking with me. Uno, reveal yourself. You're getting some tweets, bud. No way. Dude, they're trolling me specifically with a couple of these lines here. Come on.
is because unlike many of his peers in this Hall of Fame, he never really held an unmatched peak. Characters like AGL Broly or Physical Evoken were far above him offensively, while characters like DBS Gogeta had the superior taunt and team protector ability.
Depending upon the fight. I mean, we're just pretending that Goku and Frieza don't exist, or... I mean, it's... But, I mean, I guess the dodge cancel only is the 17 and Golden Frieza portion of it, right? You get Physical Gogeta through that, and he certainly would be helpful at the end. Beast could be cracked if the situation was bad against Goku and Frieza. Like, if it was really bad situation, right?
In contrast, the characters ranking above Beast on this list, and even some below him, were unmatched in nearly every single regard. However, Beast's sheer consistency and jack-of-all-trades value has made him a clear contender for the #1 spot over an entire year. Arguably the best year for character quality in the game's history. This easily validates his high-ranking seat, and hey, if you personally have Beast at 2 or even 1, I have no problem with that.
I don't think 3 is like some crazy stretch for him. 3 is probably fine. I think if I were to do my own, I probably would have him at 1. But you know, it's man, 2 characters who they excluded just because of they hadn't been out that long in Broly and Tech DBZ Broly. I wonder if both of them would make this list retroactively if it was done now, right? I don't think any 2025 characters would, at least any start of 2025 characters. The Blue Goku and Vegeta, they're worthy of this list.
I do, but I would like to add that Beast's consistency is what made him so appealing to the more defense-focused player base. There has never been an event that you could not go into in the year of 2024 and not beat it 10 times out of 10 with double STR Beast Gohan Superheroes team. Okay. Having double and sometimes triple taunts if you also ran Physgo G.
To be fair to what Holden is saying there, though, like he said, with the Beast Gohan Superhero team, Superhero was also stacked out of its mind, right? So it's not like Beast was not carrying scrubs out there like, you know, 2009 LeBron or something like that. You know, there was other demons on that superhero team, to be fair.
2024 and not beat it 10 times out of 10 with double STR Beast Gohan Superheroes team. Having double and sometimes triple taunts if you also ran Physgo Gogeta Blue is just preposterous. Even now, I do not understand why Akatsuki felt it was okay to release that team, other than it is the redemption of Fizz Ultimate Gohan, who released with a certain fella.
Coming in at second place, the Silver Seat. Relax and calm down before you hear this. For a tied #2 on the Dokkan Battle Hall of Fame, we've decided that our picks are STR Gogeta.
Right. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Yeah, he slipped my mind for a bit. Actually, I should have. Okay. Yeah. He AGL Super Vegito. Okay, yeah. Let's see. This probably will make a lot of sense
Fame.
actually.
We've decided that our picks are STR Gogeta and AGL Vegito. Now calm down before you click off. We have a legitimate argument for who we picked as number 1. And you've probably already figured who it is by now if you've been paying attention.
Yeah.
But for now, we'll explain this ranking and why it's shared. And honestly, the biggest reason is that these two characters are keeping each other from taking the number 1 spot.
I love both of these
That
units.
makes sense.
Any player who's around for the living Ichigo, Rhyme Style, D-Free, Alex the Gaming Claw, Gaming with Talon, etc. era knows that these two units were the absolute pinnacle of the game until the furry Red Boys came out for the 2nd anniversary. Gogeta, leading literally every unit in the game by the current, at the time, best leader skill buff available, while hitting the hardest and introducing the groundbreaking mechanic that has always seen success, attacks effective against all types. Vegito, leading a new meta of percentage leader skills that buff not just attack, but defense and HP, while hitting harder than Gogeta through another groundbreaking mechanic that has often seen some more electric successes than super effective, and that is counterattacks. Vegito was also just an absurdly broken tank who could only take damage to supers, but oh wait, you could just seal the enemy's super attack because back then bosses did not have immunities.
Yep.
But unfortunately, we do have to get into why either of these boys are not number 1 as a lot of people may have been expecting. Let's start with Gogeta, who a lot of people probably thought was one of 2 obvious picks other than Beast. Gogeta, in my opinion, as a year 1, month 1 player, has been utterly mystified over the past 9 years of the game. The original have him or you don't mentality, in reality, was far more aligned with hype and status than actual usability.
There you go.
Any
Good
character
job.
who was considered viable and strong before Gogeta was still viable and strong after him. After all, you wouldn't have been able to beat his Dokkan event and awaken him otherwise, as back then, Dokkan events were the game's hard content.
Yep.
While Gogeta did gap the game immensely, the hardest we've ever seen, you can make the easy argument that other characters on this list, like the 7th anniversary LLRs, 8 spots lower, were more necessary for beating content than Gogeta ever was. And thus, Gogeta's prestige was way more about account value than actual practicality. Especially when you get into his shared spot partner, Vegito. Vegito was often referred to as the perfect card. This was due to his incredible damage, the best in the game, his nigh invincibility, even the support he gave in his super attack effect, not to mention the fact that he led the best team in the game in AGL.
Yeah.
His aging process was also impressive. Many people would even claim that Super Vegito was still number 1 until the 2nd anniversary, even though characters like Vegito Blue and Rose Goku Black came after him.
Yeah.
Vegito
Well, yeah, but the thing about Vegito Blue and Rose that were so good is that their teams were Super Class and Extreme Class, right?
was basically completely superior to Gogeta and the rest of the game in every conceivable way, and it wasn't even close. In fact, you could argue the advent of Vegito made Gogeta suffer one of the hardest 1 to 2 drops of any character in this discussion. He didn't even have an argument over him. And he only came 4 months after.
Hey, bud. Yeah, that's cool, what you just said. Except for the fact that EGL fucking full power frees us on this list, bud. Forgot about him? That EGL full power freeze is driving me up a wall, but I disagree so hard about that.
Discussion. He didn't even have an argument over him. And he only came 4 months afterward, so Gogeta's reign as number 1 was also among the shortest on this list. However, Gogeta's power on release was completely immeasurable. He was the strongest unit in the game with arguably the biggest gap we've ever seen, and so he's definitely undeniable as a high ranker. While I don't think Gogeta has as strong of an argument for greatest of all time, he certainly holds the title for strongest of all time. And yes, in my opinion, there is a difference. As for Vegito, his argument against the number 1 spot is that simply Gogeta did it first, and arguably harder. While all of these things validate Vegito's ranking, just as he keeps Gogeta from the number 1 spot, Gogeta's more dominant, albeit shorter reign over the game also keeps Vegito from being able to stake the claim for greatest of all time.
Alright, I think it's time to rip off the other Band-Aid. Seated at the head of the Dokkan Hall of Fame table, Tech LR Orange Piccolo.
Yeah, it makes sense, yeah.
This may come as a huge shock to people who were expecting our number 1 Hall of Famer to be Beast or STR Gogeta. However, we believe that Orange Piccolo has several unique traits that give him an incredibly strong and valid claim to the title of greatest in Dokkan history. Starting with his actual reign. Orange Piccolo arguably had the longest reign as number 1 in the game's history. Assuming you were one of the sophisticated people who kept him slotted above the GT Duo and Bulma. Orange Piccolo ran the game for a year.
Whoa, that's a shot at me, buddy. He's taking shots at me, goddammit. You easily could have argued Orange Piccolo number 1 the whole year, though, for sure.
Slotted above the GT Duo and Bulma. Orange Piccolo ran the game for a year and 2 months, meaning he had the longest run as king the game has ever seen. And, if you don't think Orange Piccolo was 1 for the entire year, he takes another unique title, the only character in history to take back the number 1 spot. Even if you thought GT Duo was better or Bulma was better, Orange Piccolo was undeniably the best and most consistent character for the dismal future Red Zone meta.
When Fusion
Meaning
Zamasu
that even if
came
you
out,
bump
yep.
Piccolo down to 2 or even 3, he jumped all the way back up to 1 in a few months.
100%, yeah.
Tech Piccolo is a name that was uttered across an entire year. No name commanded more fear and respect than Tech Orange Piccolo. He had some moments where his followers strayed off the narrow and beaten path, falling to the dark side. When Sin and Omega were the hardest fights, that was the hardest trial for us believers. But we bore through our Savior's trials and tribulations, bringing us to the other side of what was indisputably the worst year of modern Dokkan. Orange Piccolo was designed so well that an entire year's worth of releases could not dethrone him. To put that into perspective, 11 premium LRs, 4 from the anniversary, 4 from the worldwide celebration, and 2 from Tanabata and 1 from Christmas, all released, and Orange Piccolo came out at the end of the year still as number 1.
Yeah, so that would have been what? Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks. Piccolo definitely would take the spot there. The worldwide LRs, the only one arguable would be Future Gohan, but like Blue Vegito, Tech Fusion Zamasu, Physical Trunks, no way. The Tanabata LRs were pretty weak, really. In Super Saiyan 4 Goku and AGL Carnival Omega Shenron. Golden Week Bulma, though, is a discussion. And then, of course, we can go to the anniversary. Anniversary Carnivals, probably no way, right? Goku and Kid Gohan. And then the 2 Spirit Bomb characters.
No other unit in the game's history has ever gone through that much competition and consistently stayed at the top but this character. Granted, he was not the best unit in all categories, he was not the best offensively, and in certain situations there were better tanks, but he is a proto-STR beast. He was the king of consistency.
Despite what Holden said, Orange Piccolo was still one of the best offensive characters with his giant form. He was the best general defensive character. He gave support and protection to his allies.
Yeah.
He led the best team in the game, arguably the best category of all time. Orange Piccolo released in a meta where 1 million supers were the standard. Yet he can live, not tank, but live 3 million supers with his full passive up. He was almost 3 times as strong as he needed to be. Orange Piccolo was such a legendary force that he single-handedly made the biggest fumble in the game's history in Beastless Gohan not feel quite as bad as it could have.
True.
He went through 3 different difficulty jumps and remained the strongest character. He single-handedly made people realize how good giant forms truly are.
That is true.
Even to this very moment, you can hop into any event and beat it with Orange Piccolo as a mainstay on your team, over 2 years after his release. He is simply the greatest of all time.
I know we were just talking about how great he was, but it really is hard to describe the difference in magnitude between LR Orange Piccolo at number 1 and LR STR Beast Gohan at number 1, or even just STR Gogeta, AGL Vegito, anyone on this list, basically. Beast, for a lot of people, is not the best unit in the game as of early January 2025. A lot of people have, say, Easy A Tech LR Super Gogeta at 1, or SDR Family Kamehameha at number 1.
Yep.
Some delusional idiots have the Fizz SSJ Goku Gohan and Trunks at number 1, but those are definitive now. The year has ended, and people have locked their placements in going into the biggest, grandest anniversary of them all, year 10. But for 2023, when people would change their mind from Orange Piccolo to GT Duo or to Bulma or sometimes to STR Future Gohan, etc., from what I have seen and known, they would always change it back to Orange Piccolo. It was an illusion of, well, GT Duo are better versus Sin, and Fizz Z Duo are pretty good against Omega, and Orange Piccolo kind of falls off in those fights. But then the second Fusion Zamasu drops, all of those people came crawling back. That didn't happen for STR Beast. It might in 2025, but Piccolo came out in 2022 and remained the best until...
So after this, I mean, Beast, even now, can get a little bit of play, but it's certainly very easy for Beast to get clapped up. I mean, in total, Beast versus Orange Piccolo in terms of longevity? I mean, Beast is still pretty effective in, like, those GDC fights, but it does need to be kind of like a specific setup. Beast was obviously very good in battle hard and formidable foes during the 10th anniversary. It's, yeah, I mean, it's similar. I would almost say it's similar with Beast and Orange Piccolo. I'm not too pressed about Piccolo above Beast. I disagree with SDR Gogeta, but I'm also not going crazy either. Or AGL Super Vegeta was really crazy, right? But
the end of January in 2024. That is the difference in magnitude of these two, and why we hold Piccolo over not just Beast, but STR Gogeta and AGL Vegito too. No other unit held onto the top spot for this long, with this consistent of a team, with this much competition. No other unit except for Tech Orange Piccolo, the best Dokkan battle unit of all time.
We do acknowledge just how subjective a list like this is always going to be.
Okay, let's see.
There are so few people who would watch something like this and come out on the other end going, yeah, I agree.
That's very true.
But we can hope you all at least understand our logic and placements.
I'm going to just say this. I think that this list is very good outside of this, I mean, Polar Bear and Texas right here. Even AGL UI, I could understand plummeting off here. I could. But like Full Power Frieza? I don't think Full Power Frieza would be within my top 50. I'm no troll whatsoever. I don't think AGL Full Power Frieza is in my top 50.
But we can hope you all at least understand our logic and placements. As I touched on during Beast segment, I can easily see any of the top 3 being swapped around each other in any order, and the rest of the list could be totally different.
I truly appreciate you guys watching this video to the end. I know it's a rather longer one, but with the 10th anniversary finally being upon us, and being as I have been playing for 10 long years, I wanted to celebrate the game in this video, and I think Uno and I accomplished that. Let us know your top 10 Dokkan Hall of Fame lists, and please share the video. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.
Okay, chat. Quickly, let's
basically like admitting.
So let's just rewind. I just want to take a look at some of these. Okay, so Cooler. Some of these characters, like Cooler, the OG Super Saiyan 4s. Wait. So Physical Cooler was not here either? I'm a little surprised by no Physical Cooler even mentioned. Not even in the quick honorable mentions was Physical Cooler mentioned, huh? Vegeta and Trunks probably could have gotten a little bit more talk. Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, Tech Ultimate Gohan, the OG Super it is tough. Let me get back to this. So, I I would probably get Goku and Frieza the fuck up out of here. I don't know that I'm really too bothered by their placements here, but I'm putting probably Bulma, Gamma 1, Pat the Power Kid Goku, STR Cooler, Tech Ultimate Gohan, all above them. The third anniversary LRs probably do deserve respect. Once you talk about the 7th anniversary LRs, man, I do like them being mentioned, but again, some of these characters, like Gamma 1, Bulma, Tech Ultimate Gohan, I'd really be interested in putting them higher. STR Vegito definitely deserves to be here. Overall, it's good, besides Full Power Frieza. That is genuinely shocking to me that he made it on here. Let me know what you guys think, though. I mean, this was definitely fun right here. Definitely did enjoy this one quite a bit. Let me know what you guys thought, what your lists might look like. I think I could see myself doing a list like this and maybe do like a Hall of Fame type like pyramid or something like that. Maybe like one character at the top, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, right? Like for a little bit, maybe something like that. But definitely fun, definitely fun. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out, of course, to these guys, Holden and Uno. And I'll catch you guys next time.